Kia ora guys, welcome back to the Black Jersey. My name's Max and thank you once again to my patrons. Welcome to this video, to my new viewers as well. Just a reminder, if you like my content, to subscribe to me. We do need to get this wee ratio up a lot, as you can see. So for today's video, I was thinking after the first two rounds, what would a 2023 British and Irish Lions world lineup look like? As we all know, the teams who make up the British and Irish Lions are Ireland, Scotland, England and Wales. And for this team, I've selected 13 Irish players, I've selected 10 English players, 10 Scottish players, and sorry to say, just 4 Welsh players. Meant to say 14 Irish as well, of course, because I have gone for a 38-man squad. Warren Gatland for 2021 picked 37 men. And have kind of gone off the passions he went with, except I've added a 5th midfielder to my team. Now that I've told you all of the makeup of the team, I want to get into the front row first. After I just let you guys know this player must have a test cap already. That's just my selection criteria before we go to the front row. For my hookers, I've got 1 Welsh player and 2 Irish players. The guy who is my go-to off the bench is Ken Owens because he's there for experience. He's the Welsh captain right now. He's getting very close to 90 test caps, and as he is the Welsh captain right now, he's having a little bit more of a say of their set moves, and at 36 years old, he's also been a previous Lions tourist in 2017 and 2021. Because both of my Irish hookers have never been on a tour before, I thought it would be good to have the old boy giving them a few tips. He seems to be throwing a little bit more accurately as Jamie George right now as well, so Ken Owens is in there. The 2 Welsh guys, I've got Dan Sheehan as my starting hooker, as he's got a few more minutes together, or strung together rather, at test level in recent years. Ronan Kelleher will join him as well. I do think Kelleher is a better player in terms of his work ethic around the pitch, but because Sheehan's strung more minutes, of course, at test level together, he is my starting hooker. Sheehan was amazing in 2022, should have been breakthrough player of the year, and of course I can trust him very much in the lineouts. Now over to the props. Ellis Genge is my starting loose head prop because he is just an absolute weapon in open space, while he will break you down in the scrum to great effect. Andrew Porter, I've gone with he's the guy I've gone with to be behind Genge there rather. Porter was phenomenal for Ireland in 2022 and he's continued it into 2023, earning his 50th test cap and getting a try for them against the French. Porter is a machine at scrum as well, so I've got no problem including him. But for the third choice loose head prop, it took me a little while to decide who this player was going to be. I've gone for Pierre Schoeman of Scotland, as he is the guy that's in form right now. Schoeman is a player that Scotland needed very much, with Rory Sutherland not really recapturing his form after the 2021 tour, so he's going to sneak in there for me as the third choice. Now, of course, my tight head prop is going to be Tadhg Furlong. Let's move on. We all know he's the world's best tight head prop. I want Finlay Bealham, also of Ireland's, to back him up. The Irish are the world's best team for a reason, and they deserve to have that #1 ranking, so they're getting a bit of the special treatment with Bealham in there. I've liked a lot of his subtle passes as of late, while he's just as good in the scrum as Furlong is. He's really proven himself to me over the last few weeks or so, with Furlong not quite ready to come back from injury just yet. Xander Fagerson, also from Scotland, I thought would be good to have him in there for the sake of combination building. Picking Fagerson was done for the sake of combination building, which factored quite heavily into the decision makings behind my selections for this team. Though it's a bit of a make-believe team, I think it'll be good to have the 2 Scotsmen there in the midweek side to balance that scrum a wee little bit. Over to the locks, it was a pretty hard choice for me to make. Tadhg Beirne, pretty obviously going to be there for the sake of form, though in real life he will be out for the next 12 weeks due to injury. I have to have him in my make-believe team. Though Maro Itoje's massive loss of form made it very hard for me to pick a guy to go with him. As Burn is a bit more of an athletic lock who's going to do a bit more stuff around the field, as I said in my 2022 World 15, he made a lot of passes, and so I've gone for Johnny Hill to kind of balance my lineout. Hill is 6'9", so he's a gigantic lineout option, while he's also going to rough up the opponents, of course. Steve Borthwick doesn't seem to favour Johnny Hill, but I do, because he's got a lot of power to bring into the scrum, and of course his ruck speed is very, very quick. Johnny Hill, few people don't like him because he gives away a few penalties, but I think with Burn as that star player, I just want Hill to be there to do the dirty stuff in the tight spaces of the pitch. Adam Baird of Wales and Alan Wynne-Jones of Wales are the other players that I've gone for. As I said, I wasn't going to be picking too many Welsh players, I've got just 4, but I do think the fact they've both been previous Lions tourists is important for the sake of selection, as they both do have solid reputations. Form's not quite on their side right now, but I think that with a good coach, they could definitely make some impact in the midweek games. Ian Henderson of Ireland also features for me because he is a devastating impact player and has a lot of experience. Henderson has been through the wars of Ireland, he's overseen some greatness, and as he prepares to end his career, I look forward to seeing him wearing jersey number 19 there rather in the Rugby World Cup. Now, my guy to bring off the bench in the actual tests has to be Ollie Chessum, who is a solid option in the lineouts. Chessum hasn't quite reached his full potential yet, but I do think he can be trusted for big moments, as he's recently proved with England in the Six Nations. I think giving him as much game time as possible should ideally be on Borthwick's agenda. As I've tried to copy Warren Gatlin's pattern of selections, I've just got 2 open side flankers to go with my 2 blind sides and 2 8s for the loose forwards. As I do want to have an athletic number 6 who can cover lock, I'm going to start Courtney Laws in the jersey. I'm very excited to see him coming back from injury for England. He is a genius with stealing liner. He wins a fair few turnovers around the pitch, and of course he was one of those locks that pioneered the mobility that they need around the field in the modern day. As I don't have the craziest line out in terms of height, Burns just 6'6", I do want to have a guy that's 6'7" to add just a bit of a more consistent third option, as my number 8 isn't possibly the tallest guy running around. To go beside Laws, I've got Jamie Ritchie perhaps as a captain for the midweek tests, if it's not between him and Alan Wynne-Jones, of course. Jamie Ritchie has been in phenomenal form for Scotland as of late. He is doing great work as their captain, so I've got to put him in my team, no debate over there. Now, Josh van der Fleer, he obviously starts at open side flanker as he did win World Rugby Player of the Year. I do like what he's done for Ireland lately very much. I have to have him in my team because he wins a lot of turnovers. Tom Curry, I'm also going to pick him for reputation and the fact that he's a previous tourist. Curry does win a lot of turnovers right now, so, well, I gotta pick him. That's how it works. Caelan Doris, of course he's my starting number 8. Combination building, as I said earlier, has been a big part in my selections for the team, and as I want to have an Irish player at 9 and an Irish player at 10, well, Caelan Doris goes in as my 8. Matt Fagerson, form for him recently, that's why he gets the nod as the second choice, plus there's also a bit of combination building going on with the Scottish theme, as you're about to find out with halfback. At halfback, I want Ben White to be my third choice for the sake of the magnificent form he has been in. I thought Ali Price would be very important to Scotland's Six Nations, but he hasn't played in the first 2 rounds at all, though I will pick him as my second choice, so I can ensure there's an experienced bloke coming off the bench. As a previous Lions tourist, as I've continued to say through the video, that adds a lot of value to the team. Jamison Gibson Park, put him in at number 9 and combine him with the captain, Johnny Sexton, is what I say. I want Johnny Sexton to be my captain, as he is the most experienced player. I'm going to put in my starting 15. Sexton didn't go on the Lions tour in 2021, but he's had a massive revival in form as well, while Jamison Gibson Park is the beating heart of Andy Farrell's game plan. So those 2 at the 9 and 10, no problems. Caelan Doris at 8 to join them, you're set to go. The other 10s I'm going to pick is Marcus Smith. I consider Marcus Smith to be the best 10 in the world, but because you do need to have experienced players to balance out that starting 15. Sexton is the captain, so Smith, we can rely on him to come off the bench and absolutely wreak havoc on his opponents. He is so brilliant with that step. He was the top try scorer for England last year, and he was one of just 2 players to score 100 points in international rugby for 2022. He makes massive hits on defence as well, so give jersey 22 to Marcus Smith, and wow, that's going to be incredible. Owen Farrell, I'm a bit 50-50 right now in how his goal kicking is going. He hasn't quite returned from injury as the same player he once was, but as I've continued to say throughout the video, you do need that experience. He's gone on 3 Lions tours before, so what's the harm in putting him in for a 4th, where he can no doubt be relied upon for massive hits on defence. I just love his passing as well. He is elite with his game management. This one, probably going to be a little bit controversial, but I've gone for just 2 second 5s and I've gone for 3 centres, as I'm confident that all 3 of my centres could probably cover wing and give some impact off the bench, perhaps in the midweek games. To start at 12, I want to go for Joe Hawkins, as I'm a true believer in the idea of a second 5. A lot of teams in recent years have wanted an inside centre to crash things up, but as the next tour is to Australia, I think having Joe Hawkins in at 12 can help pick things apart and just take the pressure off Sexton for the sake of letting him deal with the referees and stuff. Hawkins has played just 3 tests for Wales, but he's looking really good. He's honestly one of the few good things about them right now, and when Wales return to form, he will be at the centre, pun not intended, of it all. I then want Bundy Aki in jersey 23 for the sake of his experience, and if you don't quite have enough of that power, you can bring some off the bench at halftime to counteract a bit of the bullying up front you could perhaps get from your opponents. Henry Slade has to be my 13 for the sake of his creativity, kicking game and distribution. He's possibly still quick enough to cover wing as well, so you don't have to have a replacement outside back on the bench due to Henry Slade being able to cover that position. Hugh Jones and Gary Ringrose, give those 2 the green light all day, every day. Gary Ringrose is about to cross 50 tests for Ireland, and he thoroughly deserves to hit that milestone because he is in world-class form right now. Hugh Jones, I had no idea what was going on. For a few years, he kind of fell out of favour with Scotland. I'm happy to see him back in the starting 15 for that team because he is a lethal strike runner with pretty good passing as well. So I really want to see Hugh Jones go on this make-believe Lions tour that I'm creating up in my head. Over to the outside backs, Mac Hansen all the way. He's in my team for sure, having been a nominee for Breakthrough Player of the Year. Duhan van der Merwe and Darcy Graham though, well, they've got to be my starting wingers. With Graham about to return from injury, van der Merwe is kind of starting to hog the spotlight back his way. He ran 150 metres the last week and scored 2 tries in the first round of the Six Nations. Duhan van der Merwe has been in phenomenal form, and I really want to see him get back to the highlights that he had for his career back in 2021. Darcy Graham with that step, with that pace, with that kicking game, ability to cover fullback, he's in for sure. And for Henry Arundel, I think this will be good for his career long term to have him in there as a bit of the baby of the bunch. Henry Arundel's playing a little bit better than Louis Rees-Zammit right now, so he's going to sneak into my team. Henry Arundel is such a bright future for England, and I'm so excited to see what he's got going for himself long term. My first choice fullback has to be Freddie Stewart. He is the best fullback in the world. I've said it time and time again, and I found it really hard to choose between Hugo Keenan and Stuart Hogg, but combination building, as I've said so many times in this video, is probably starting to get old, does bring the factor of that combination building. As I don't have a reserve first 5 or fly half as the British say, that's from Scotland, I did think it would be appropriate to have a Scottish guy as fullback to combine with Fagerson, Price and White in the reserves for the midweek games. It's got a bit of a Scottish flavour, those midweek games, those midweek tests. So yes, that is going to be my British and Irish Lions team for 2023. It would be really awesome to see a Lions tour happen more regularly so we could really get a better grasp on who the form players of the British Isles are right now. as this is quite obviously to you guys watching a bit more of a laid back video than usual, I want to hear your picks down in the comments. Of course, please let me know as well what you think of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this channel, make sure to support me over on Instagram, Twitter, or become a patron. If you're keen to just make a one-off donation as well, you can go to my PayPal tip jar. Thank you once again for watching this video, guys. Much appreciated from Max.